found in House of Filth. Cops discover horrifying truth inside. Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. What you're about to hear isn't just disturbing, it's nearly unbelievable. In a quiet rural town in South Carolina, police made a discovery that has shaken even the most experienced officers to their core. Inside what looked like a normal house from the outside was something straight out of a nightmare. 47 animals, garbage piled high, feces covering the floors, and a decomposing goat carcass in the bathtub. But what turned this from horrifying to heartbreaking? An 8-month-old baby was found living in those same conditions, sleeping in a crib surrounded by filth, with no clean air to breathe. And here's what might shock you most. The baby's parents showed no emotion as officers took their child away. Tonight, we take you inside the so-called House of Filth and ask, how did this happen? And why did no one speak up sooner? Stay with us. From the outside, the house appeared to be just another rural home nestled in Anderson County, South Carolina. Neighbors described it as quiet, maybe even forgettable. But inside, officers from the Honea Path Police Department were met with what one official called the worst conditions he had ever seen in 30 years of service. It all began with a welfare check initiated by the Department of Social Services. They had received concerns about the well-being of a child living in the home. When police arrived on May 19th, they expected neglect. What they uncovered was something else entirely. The smell hit them first. Strong ammonia, feces, and decay. Walking through the cluttered home, officers found animals of all kinds. Raccoons, cats, dogs, chickens, and even rabbits. Some were caged, many were not. The animals had been left to roam freely, defecating on furniture, floors, and even near the baby's crib. In total, 47 animals were discovered. In one of the most disturbing discoveries, a decomposing goat carcass was found in the bathtub, and amid this chaos and filth, an 8-month-old infant. The child was found lying in a crib surrounded by trash, dirty clothes, and animal waste. According to officers on the scene, the baby was crawling age, which raised fears about what substances the child might have been touching or ingesting. Photos released by police show the crib positioned inches away from animal cages, trash, and stained floors. There were no clean surfaces in sight. The 2 adults responsible for this home were identified as Michael Foley and Kayla Renard, the child's parents. Both were arrested and charged with multiple offenses, including unlawful conduct toward a child and animal cruelty. What stunned officers even more was the couple's demeanor. According to the police chief, both parents sat silently, showing little emotion or concern as their child was removed from the home. You would think they'd be heartbroken, the chief later said in a local interview. But it was like they didn't even realize something was wrong. Further investigation revealed troubling behavior patterns online. On social media, Renard had posted photos of herself surrounded by dogs, smiling alongside Foley, and even made comments about animal neglect, accusing others of mistreating pets. The irony was glaring. These same individuals were living in a house with conditions that posed a serious threat to life, both animal and human. The question then became, how did this go unnoticed for so long? Anderson County is a rural community. According to former Sheriff's Deputy Chad Ayers, these areas often lack the visibility of urban neighborhoods. People live further apart, and there's often a culture of mind your own business. Ayers, now founder of a crisis response group, says he's responded to hoarding cases before, but never one like this. You can expect to find old magazines stacked floor to ceiling or clutter that prevents access to rooms, Ayers said. But this was something else entirely. Animal feces everywhere, an infant crawling through it, and a goat carcass in the shower? That's not hoarding. That's endangering life. What's even more disturbing is the potential health hazards. Experts noted the high levels of ammonia in the air from animal urine, as well as bacteria and disease from feces. For an adult, this might mean headaches or nausea. For a child, especially an infant just learning to crawl, it could be life-threatening. There were no water bowls seen in the house, and some animals were clearly malnourished. Animal control teams said the environment made it hard to breathe, even for officers wearing protective masks. The house was deemed uninhabitable, and the baby was immediately placed in the care of a relative. But how does a family end up living like this? Some point to substance abuse. Others believe it's the result of mental illness or prolonged isolation. Ayers suggests that in many hoarding cases, the conditions build up slowly. One animal turns into 3, then 10, and before long the situation spirals out of control. At some point, he says, they just give up, they're underwater, and it's too late. Still, that explanation offers little comfort. Photos show cages beside the child's crib, a raccoon resting inches away from where a baby slept, a rotting goat body, likely dead for weeks. How could anyone not realize this was wrong? This case is a haunting reminder of the importance of community vigilance. Ayers criticized the silence of neighbors, friends, and family who may have seen warning signs. You're telling me that for 8 months, no one visited this newborn child? He asked. No one thought to report anything sooner? He's right to ask. In rural communities especially, there's often hesitation to report others, out of fear, guilt, or the belief that it's not my place. But when a child is involved, that silence can be deadly. The truth is, tragedies like this aren't as rare as we might like to believe. The presence of 47 animals in the home also raises questions about regulation and enforcement. In South Carolina, keeping exotic animals like raccoons requires permits, but it's unclear whether any were obtained. Regardless of legality, experts agree that no household could possibly provide humane conditions for that many animals, let alone when a child is living among them. Now, with both parents out on bond, the case remains pending. The child is in protective custody, and the home will likely be condemned. Renard and Foley face a difficult legal battle ahead, not just to regain custody, but to answer for the environment they created. Meanwhile, the public is left grappling with difficult emotions, anger, confusion, sadness, disbelief. Because this wasn't just an unsanitary home. This wasn't just a case of too many pets. This was a crime against innocence. A baby, voiceless and defenseless, was placed in conditions unfit for any living creature, and it might have continued, if not for one call from social services. As this case moves forward, it raises critical questions for every community. Are we paying attention to the vulnerable? Are we speaking up when something feels off? Are we doing enough to protect those who can't protect themselves? Because it only takes one silent neighborhood, one missed warning sign, for a nightmare like this to unfold again. It's difficult to imagine how anyone, let alone 2 parents, could allow an infant to live in such revolting and hazardous conditions. A crib surrounded by filth, wild animals, and a rotting goat carcass isn't just neglect. It's a complete collapse of humanity. This case forces us to confront an uncomfortable truth. Sometimes, the danger to a child doesn't come from strangers, but from the very people who should protect them. As the legal process unfolds, we can only hope that justice will be served, and that this child will find a future far removed from the horror of that house. Let this story be a wake-up call. If something feels wrong, say something, because silence can cost lives. And if you believe stories like this need to be seen and heard, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave your thoughts below. Your voice helps us shine a light in the darkest corners.